Have you ever back out here?
Hey, Mama. Mama. I love you.
Good morning. We are Monterey County Search and Rescue Dogs, and we are a volunteer organization that works with the Monterey County Sheriff to locate missing, lost, and deceased people. We train in several disciplines. To give you a little bit of background about what search and rescue is, there are 7 different disciplines. You have disaster dog work, which is what you're probably familiar with from 9/11 and earthquakes and Japan, where they use the dogs to find the bodies in the rubble. You also have what's called area or wilderness search, which is one of the disciplines that we apply and practice and have certified dogs for. And what that means is that when you're out camping, hiking, or out in the woods, and somebody gets lost, our dogs can come and find you. So please support search and rescue. Get lost for us. Another discipline is a trailing or a tracking dog. Now, some of this comes from different areas. You've seen bloodhounds. You've seen, if you're familiar with Schützen work, you've seen it as part of the obedience trials for the trailing. And we use it in a combination of both the wilderness and urban search, and you'll see it in police work to actually search for a suspect using scent articles. What we're going to demonstrate this morning is the process of training a dog to actually become a trailing dog. And then we're going to show you what the difference between the trail or tracking dog versus just an open air scent. Open air scent is when the dog carries the nose up. Tracking and trailing is when the nose is carried to the ground. Another discipline is looking for cadaver. And unfortunately, that's needed, and that means we're looking for a deceased person or body parts. We're not going to demonstrate that here today. There are a lot of conditions and handling of body parts that come into play, but that is something that we also train for. The other side is urban. Let's say that you have an elderly parent who has Alzheimer's and they wander away from the house. The combination of trailing and tracking combined with urban working within communities allows the dog to find that lost individual. So this translates into other areas. Those are the 4 areas that MCSARD concentrates on for our search and rescue group. Okay? So we're starting out here with Brenda and Dusty, and just to let you know, afterwards, we all have cards that have our pictures and bios and talk about our, whoops, turn it right side up. And our table and our booth is over on the other side by the food. Please grab them, hang on to them. We are a non-profit organization, all volunteer. Anything that you can do to help support is always greatly appreciated. If you have an interest in finding out if your dog can do search and rescue, please make sure that you contact one of us and sign up. There's a sign-up table, and we'll gladly give you information and talk to you about that as well. Pardon?
Do we need a dog to volunteer?
Absolutely not. We need people to get lost. They play victim, decoy, so all the time, okay?
That's one of the most important things we have, is to have people willing to do that.
Yeah, most definitely. As Molly said, most important thing is having volunteers willing to go hide out in the wilderness and sit there for hours while we come find you. And it's not that you're sitting there for hours because we can't find you. It's that as each dog progresses in their training, the training gets harder. So you could be sitting in a 100-acre parcel, and it takes a while for the dog to clear that 100 acres to locate you. Okay?
And it's on a Sunday morning.
Bring good books, music, coffee. All right, so we're going to get started, and this is Brenda and Dusty is actually one of our trailing tracking dogs. Now, what I'd like to explain to you, you see Brenda talking and saying, do you want to go to work? She's actually getting Dusty excited about working, and this is the very beginning piece of taking and teaching a dog. Now, to start this, what we've done when you want to teach a dog to track or trail is you have a scent article, okay? So in our case, you're going to see, and we've done this for demonstration purposes only, the orange cones, and you'll see a piece of cloth hanging out of that orange cone. Well, our decoy who is hidden is out in one of the tents, okay? And he actually put those in his armpits, and I'm going to tell you a couple of things about scent. His armpits, his groin, and the bottom of your feet are where scent really, really pulls, okay? Ladies, it's our bra areas, right? But he put the scent on it, he laid the track, put the scent article in the cone, and it's for visual purposes, because normally when we do this, we don't put them in the cones, they're just laid out there. In Dusty's case, there's a piece of food next to the cone. That's the beginning process of teaching a reward with scent, because the end object is to find the lost person. Their reward is either food, toy, or praise, and you're going to see those used throughout the demonstration. Okay, so we're going to let Brenda get started, and here we go. Now you notice he found that food pretty quick. Notice his nose is going down to the ground. If you see, you can actually see where the scuff marks are where Ryan laid the track. In real life, you would not see that, but Dusty's nose would find it. Yes, she's following the dog. She has a long line, and normally when we're out in a larger area and not as confined, Dusty would be out at the end of that line, and Brenda would be behind. And you might see Dusty actually go left and right of that path, because there are a lot of factors that affect scent, such as wind, environment, terrain. Therefore, Dusty stopped on that side and not the others where he could have gone through. Right? That's called direction of scent. And you notice he's barking. Okay? What we want to do is when we're doing area search, we're not on control of the leash. We don't have that leash out in front of us and that close to that dog. And when we demonstrate the area search here a little later in the program, you'll notice there's no leash, and the dog is way out of the way and can get there way before you do. The dog will bark so that you can locate the dog and get to them and know where the victim is. So you'll see the difference here coming up. Now Brenda is going along the fence so that she does not contaminate the track. Brenda, walk behind, along the fence. Yeah, that's coming up. So next up is Molly and Tia. Now, Tia is our Ferrari. Okay, we actually have a Ferrari and a Lamborghini in our pool of dogs. And Molly's job, Tia has two jobs. She does some tracking, but she also does area search. And let me tell you, slowing Tia down to do this track is tough. So Molly's got her hands full here, but Tia's going to do it. Now you're going to see a difference. Okay, Molly, go ahead and get started. You notice the drive there. Tia's like, let's go. Now you notice Molly is having Tia lay down next to the article. In real life, if there was a scent article out there, a piece of clothing or something that the dog had located, in order for them to tell us that they've located it, they would down next to the article. This is the next phase of training to get them to that point. Now you notice right in, okay? She loves finding her decoys and gets all excited. And you notice Tia is on a toy reward. She works for that. That's what motivates her. Now initially, to train Tia, you notice we had food at the cones for Dusty. Here, we would actually have a toy. When she got to the scent article, she would be given the toy to reinforce that's what you're looking for. All right, next up, we have Tony. Now, here's our Lamborghini. This is Tony and Raven, and Tony and Raven also do tracking and area. And Tony's challenge, again, is to take and slow Raven down, which isn't that easy. Now, you're going to see a difference here in that Tony is not going to have Raven down at each article, okay? She's in the next phase. She'll indicate the article and move on. Ready, Tony? You notice Tony's using her hands. One of the things we do in search and rescue is to use direction and control. We use our voices and our hands to guide our dogs. And again, Raven loves her Frisbee. Now, if you've noticed, we've got all kinds of different dogs. Because here's one that's probably going to surprise you. Raven is a Malinois, Belgian Malinois. Nice job, Tony. All right, next we have Cat and Sean. And Sean is a poodle, not your typical poodle cut, but there's a story with Miss Cat and Sean. Sean is actually a German poodle. Cat is from Germany. Her husband is in the U.S. military, and they're stationed here in Monterey, and we're fortunate enough to have Cat join us. So, you're going to see a little bit difference in drive and working, but Sean loves to get his treat at the end. Sean works for food. Right? Sean's curious. He likes to check out the tents. And he likes to cheat. That's why it's a little tough sometimes when we set up demos, because they get used to it and watch the other dogs. because believe it or not, they do learn from the other dogs. And they're smart enough, especially poodles are the second most intelligent breed. And guess what? If they can get there quicker, they're gonna. There's a huge debate on that. Oh, you've got Labs, Shepherds, Goldens, Malinois. The Poodles are second. There's a huge debate if it's Bernese or something like the working, the cattle dogs. But it's all about what you love and what you like. Border Collies, I believe that it's Border Collies actually that's number one. All right, next up, we have John and Luke. So what we've been demonstrating to this point is the tracking and trailing. And now we're gonna show you what an open area or a wilderness search would look like. And here's the difference. You notice their noses were to the ground. Here goes Luke, who again is one of those Ferraris gotta go. And John's just gonna tell him to search and turn him loose.
Go. Yep.
Now you notice how Luke stayed with the tent, right? He didn't come back to John. That's called victim loyalty. And John's getting him pumped up because what we want is that bark, bark, bark until we can get up there and get to the dog. Uh-oh. Help, please, a little assistant. That, by the way, is known as handler error. Daddy got over-exuberant and threw the toy a little too hard. All right. Now, Ryan, come out of the tent, please. There he is. He's the one that laid the scent articles. Ryan, walk to the edge, please, guy. Come along the edge. All right, now, is there anyone from the audience that would like to play decoy for me? All right, come see me. You want to play decoy? All right. I'm going to take that.
Yeah, we do have level numbers. We've got 3 going to 4.
I need you to just go right. All right. I'm going to take you first. You ready? What's your name? Kellen? All right. Kellen's going to play decoy for me. So, here's what happens. Tony, take Ray. I'm having the handlers and the dogs go across. Now granted, I can't hide them as good as I would for a real training exercise because I don't have trees and brush and all of that stuff. But you notice we got the 2 pop-up tents which simulates out camping in the wilderness, and we have the dugout area over there, okay? So, Callan is going to come up here, and he's going to run across and go hide and just sit on the bench over in the dugout area. Okay? So have fun, go run around and go over the dugout area. Now, what works here is that the scent that Ryan laid down on the track has been dissipating. And there's our scent articles. Okay? But Ryan's no longer in that tent. The strongest smell that comes out here is going to be Callan because he's in that area. So it's called scent discrimination and being able to distinguish the difference. Okay? All right, John, I'm ready. Well,
Oh, the toy.
Good job.
yeah, Luke does not want to give that up. Talk about some work drive.
Makes him a good working dog. Loves his toy.
Step out. No, 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 not that way. Step out straight. There you go. Now notice Luke didn't go to the track. He didn't go the same way. But he will check them all, which is what the job is. And he's telling that there's people over there. They're sent. He's clearing territory. He's moving. Had to go back in the tent. Ryan's not there. Tell him search, John. Notice he went to the article. John, turn and walk back towards me. Don't send him to the same. There you go. There he goes. You notice the shift and the difference. He was starting to come this way, and all of a sudden, Luke's body turned. Yeah, he already went. John, you got to move in that direction. You pulled him off it. Use your hands, John. Talk to him. Yeah, he went to him. Step in, John. Step in. Everything, every day, is always a training opportunity. Good job. All right, thanks, Luke. Part of when we train is we always have to end on a positive note. And as handlers, an important point to note out here is that this is a team, okay? We are a team with our dogs. The dogs have the nose and the ability to smell, and they're looking to us for the leadership, okay? And if we're not sure what we're supposed to do, we send mixed messages. So we have to guide and control and direct, but let them use their noses. Okay, outside you go. All right, Tony. Here comes Zoom Zoom.
Hi, baby.
Now again, remember, Ryan was there. Got to check it out. You notice Tony's using her arms for direction and control, and guess what? There we go. Watch him work it. It's coming back to Tony to tell Tony. All right, yay! All right, and Tony, would you bring our wonderful volunteer back with you as well? And you can see the difference. Tony just was very calm, stood there, used her leadership role and guided Raven. And you notice how Raven just took off and let's go. All right, now I have my second volunteer, Kirsten. Okay, Kirsten, come on, step right on in. Right, and if you would, you're going to walk out, but you're going to go to this corner over here and just sit in it. Okay? If you're up to it, you can pull that flap back over you. Okay. And this is Candace and Grace. And again, we're going to demonstrate the difference with the open area.
He's getting off a workout at 12.
There you go.
Okay, now that was all scent. Did you see her body language change and how she was going one direction and all of a sudden turned and went to the other? Now, Grace is trained what's called a refine. Instead of staying with the victim, what Grace does is come back to Candace and let Candace know that she's found somebody and then take Candace right on in. Nicely done, Candace. Nicely done, Grace. And here's another poodle. Oh, I'll bring CJ up. All right, so difference here. This is Daisy with Cat again, and Daisy's going to do the air scent. So step on up, Cat.
I would never known. It's like, hey, stop for what's here? Go.
Yes, I got 2 minutes to go. Now, this is called oops, because we are always supposed to vent our dogs before we go into a training area or go into a search. But Daisy came right out of the car, and guess what? She said, I gotta go. Okay, now, the reason she stopped along the fence line on the other side was all of a sudden a different scent came into the area than she was working. She had to distinguish between the two for what she was looking for, and she did her job. Nicely done, Cat. And here's my kid. This is CJ, and CJ does a couple of different things. CJ does, he's in training, search, and rescue. He's a great ambassador for the program, but he's also a therapy dog. So it's possible to have a dual-purpose dog. Okay? Now, CJ hasn't done this in a long time because we've been doing a bunch of other things, but let's see here if he's got it. Okay, you ready? Search. Search. And he may have to stop along the way because he's got buddies outside here. CJ, go to work. Good job, buddy. Go to work. Check it out. Search. CJ. Go out. Come on, let's go to work. CJ, leave it. Instead, he's going to give her a love. He's in therapy mode at the moment. But, thank you. You can come out. And we thank our volunteers. All right. And we'll be back up again at 12:30. If you have any questions, please see any of us that have our MCSARD hats and uniforms on. We'll gladly answer your questions. Thanks for watching.